I'll just start and everyone will sit down. Yeah, manage your reputation and content, social media. Well, yeah, it's a long title. I work for corporate communications at KLM, and together with some other colleagues, we do social media. From my point of view, I'm responsible for KLM's reputation on social media. And I'm going to take you on a tour on how we do social media within KLM. So it all started in 2009. We were just exploring a bit on the web and on internet, seeing where KLM was mentioned. We were with a group of people from e-commerce, marketing, corporate communications, customer care, just talking, doing some research. And after a while we said, well, social media is there and we need to see what we can do with social media. So we decided to have a pilot with a Twitter account in November 2009. After that we said, okay, we'll keep doing that pilot, but we'll also do a blog pilot, because our board of directors didn't know we were doing this and we didn't want to go the official way. So we said, okay, we just do pilots. That was in December. And then in February 2010 we said, well, we'll have to start a Facebook account as well. And we introduced that one with a luggage tag campaign. And we had just started that. And maybe I'm going to tell you some old news. But then the Iceland volcano erupted. So I'm not going to pronounce the name. But it was there and it had a huge impact on KLM and social media. I don't know if you know the eruption, but airspace, was closed down, and we had stranded passengers all over the world, and they couldn't get home or they couldn't go to the destination they wanted to go to. So we had a challenge. We had a lot of people, at first they couldn't fly, so we were just informing people by traditional media, by social media, by email, by telephone. But at the moment we opened airspace again, we had this challenge because a lot of people couldn't get through because they wanted to rebook their tickets, they wanted to get home. And then we said, we'll have to rebook you through social media, and we offered them that possibility. But at that time, we were only with about 3, 4, 5 people doing social media. So we had about 150 volunteers, KLM colleagues, who worked 24/7 for a couple of days just to get all these people back home. It was a challenge, but it worked out really well, and our board of directors at that moment were convinced that social media had to stay. So that took a bit longer, but in October 2010 we introduced our social media hub. So the eruption was 1.5 years ago, and I will tell you where we are right now. We have a social media hub. We offer 24/7 service, and we have a multidisciplinary team. Like I just mentioned, there are still people in the team from e-commerce, from customer care, from corporate communications and marketing. Captivate, involve and engage. That's social media for KLM. On the one hand, it's a customer engagement, and on the other hand, it's improving our reputation. But how do we do that? It's by working together, by having the open dialogue, by having inspiring content, and by creating internal awareness. And I'll take you through that. Working together, like I just said, we were with a multidisciplinary team, but social media within KLM is based on 3 pillars. It's reputation, commercial, and service, and all social media activities come together in our social media hub. And within this hub, we work closely together throughout several disciplines on a bunch of activities. And you see the activities. We want to try to put relevance and value on our social media. We have someone who's doing metrics and monitoring. We have our service agents who do the dialogue. We have an issue manager, you know, if cases maybe can escalate. We have someone who's managing that. And we are close to our press officers so that if we don't know what to answer, we can verify storylines with them. So that is working together, just the picture. We go to the open dialogue now. So this is where we work. This is part of our social media hub. And this is where we have our service agents who are in dialogue with our customers 24/7. Well, at headquarters, they are in dialogue during office hours. And after that, our call center, where our social media team is as well, they will take over for the evening and the night. And I'll give you an example on how we do our service.
Did you know KLM is available 24/7 on Facebook and Twitter to personally reply to all of your questions? No? Well then, let us give you a live demonstration of what KLM can do. KLM crew, are you ready to show how our social media service works? Okay. You can ask us anything. Request your favorite seat, rebook a flight, or get advice on how to take your pet with you on your next trip. Whatever the question, we'll do everything we can to answer, within the hour. And of course, private messaging means that your personal data always remains protected. So, for personal service, the latest news and great deals, you can find us 24/7 on Facebook or Twitter. Now, go to our Facebook page to try out our service and to win tickets to one of our destinations.
Well, you can't win any tickets anymore, but we did this live reply campaign in September, and with the campaign we wanted to create awareness among our customers, fans and followers that we were doing 24/7 service and that you can always reach us via social media. It wasn't just engaging our fans and followers, we also engaged about or involved at about 500 to 600 of our KLM colleagues, as you could see in their uniforms, and we did the campaign for about 12 hours within shifts, and well, I must say we had a great time. It was in the hangar with a plane on the back, and we really had a good time doing that. Our aim was engagement, and well, you know, engagement is about active listening, it's about two-way conversations, it's about being creative and having the dialogue all day long. With our service team, we have dedicated service agents with a broad knowledge of KLM. They know KLM systems, they know everything about customer care. It's the 24-hour service, as I just mentioned, or it was just mentioned. We strive to reply within the hour and have a solution within 24 hours. We provide the agents with the right tools, and they also get training. Oh, yeah. They also get training, and one of the tools for training is our rules of engagement. I'll just show you a few. Embrace feedback, even when negative. You know, sometimes people are frustrated with KLM and they have legitimate reasons, and we say, you know, please give us your feedback, and we will try to have these negative people turn into ambassadors in the end. Respect privacy, do not share personal information publicly. Well, for KLM that's an important one, because if people really have questions about flight details, we don't want to share these details in public, so we ask them to send their personal details, frequent flyer number, etc. in a private message. Show empathy, acknowledge emotions, it will open a dialogue. Sometimes people just are frustrated and they just want to be heard. You know, they don't want a solution or a compensation. And last but not least, well, there are more rules, but stay in control, don't argue, be friendly, correct and businesslike. Well, I think that doesn't just account for KLM, but I think for every company that works with social media. So we work together, we have an open dialogue by our service agents, but we also create inspiring content. How do we do that? We have an editorial team, a specialized, dedicated editorial team who works every day, and they create posts and tweets every day, planned and unplanned. For example, the KLM oldies, I don't know, maybe if you follow us, you've seen it. It's KLM passengers flying over the North Pole with the old picture we have, and it says, why use an app when you have a real globe? We have a lot of historical pictures, and we thought it might be a good idea to have historical pictures used in a new, innovative environment. And it creates a lot of likes and comments every time we post it. Fantastic photos. Every month we give back the best fan photos on Facebook. So fans post their pictures and we give the best ones back to them. Or a KLM Geek every week on Twitter. KLM Geek, well, this was one of the latest ones. KLM's proud to announce that the crown logo has turned golden today. Coolest crown logo ever. Well, it was last week's. So that's the editorial team, and besides that we have besides that we have a campaign team, and beside the live reply campaign, they also created this campaign.
Happiness. Is it contagious? Can it really be spread? Can it really make a difference to a person's day? Like really?
We kunnen het vragen, weet je.
Could small doses of happiness be delivered like a message in a social media bottle to unsuspecting travelers at one of the world's busiest airports? And make a likable airline even more likable? We were curious to find out. Welcome to KLM Surprise. Armed with our social media toolkit, our little experiment began. First job, find KLM passengers who had checked into their flight via one of KLM's 4 square locations or left a message through Twitter. Second job, search their social profiles. Get to know them as well as you can. To think of a personalized gift.
Omdat zij een heel sportief iemand is en een weekend Rome gaat doen, dan is het misschien leuk als we haar zo'n Nike Plus bandje geven.
Nothing fancy, like a house or a sports car. Just small stuff. Carry-on size stuff. Third job, hunt them down and deliver the gift.
100% zeker dat het er is, want ze kreeg net een bericht, denk ik. We hoorden haar KLM zeggen.
Goedemiddag. Je liet ons weten via Twitter dat je met ons reist vandaag. Ja. Dus we hebben een kleinigheidje voor je gekocht.
Nou, wat leuk. Maar Twitter al die goed voor is. Ja, daar loopt hij. Kom even.
Hoi.
Hoi.
Dag.
Pim, dag.
Pim, je hebt laten weten dat je met ons vliegt vandaag naar Washington.
Ja, dat klopt.
Dus we willen je verrassen met iets, een kleine aardigheid. Dus we hebben een tegoedbon voor je van €15 om apps te downloaden.
Dat is leuk, dankjewel.
After several weeks of handing out little gifts, a few things became apparent. In the age of social media, doing something that creates a real smile on somebody's face is much cooler than attaching a smiley face. But most importantly, it seemed that indeed an airline could use social media to both surprise and make a small difference to a passenger's day. And we're not just guessing, we know, because they told us, and their friends, massively.
So that was our KLM Surprise campaign. Well, like it said, it was relatively small. It was very personal, but it had a great impact, and it was mentioned a lot on social media. I won't show you all videos. You can find our videos on youtube.com/KLM. There are more videos about our campaigns. I will just talk about Flight to Miami and Talan Inspire. Maybe you've heard of it. We had a flight to Miami. It was the DJ flight, as they called it. One of our service agents picked up a tweet because we had mentioned in a press release that we were going to fly again to Miami on the 28th of March. And the DJ sent us a tweet and he said, "Oh, why on the 28th? Because the week before we have a DJ event or a dance event in Miami." So we challenged them and said, "Well, if you can fill up the plane, we'll start flying a week before." And it happened. So, have a look at YouTube. We did fly a week earlier, and there's a film or a video about the Flight to Miami flight. We also had Talan Inspire. Mark showed a little bit of it in his introduction film. This is Armin van Buuren. Probably you know him, famous Dutch DJ. People could upload their picture with an inspirational text, and if we would have 4,000 of them, we would put them all on a Boeing 777 of KLM. And so it happened, and I'm just gonna read how much we had. A lot of, at about 120,000 tiles were created in 154 countries, and we had 4,000 being put on the plane, and there was like this team within engineering and maintenance who started in the morning and put up all the tiles, and it's still flying around. I think it will stop at the end of the year, but it's still flying around, and it was a great success. Those are the external campaigns, but we also have our KLM staff, about 30,000 in Holland. So we try to manage our reputation by providing rules and by being organized in a hub and being creative in posts and campaigns, what to do with our staff. And we have decided that social media within KLM has to be done within the social media hub. We don't allow our staff to tweet or post about KLM themselves or just to interfere in conversations. But they do post things on Facebook and Twitter, and we want them to be aware that whatever they post can have an impact on themselves, but also on KLM, because it's easy to find a staff member related to KLM. So we've created an internal awareness campaign, and one of the tools for that was this video. Well, the video was from June. The numbers have risen for KLM. We have a Facebook account with nearly 350,000 followers now, nearly 200,000 for Twitter. We also have Hives, that's a Dutch Facebook. We have our YouTube channel. We're working on LinkedIn. We have a blog. And we just opened our business account on Google Plus yesterday. So we're working on it. This is how we do social media at KLM. For us, it's anyone can open a Facebook or a Twitter account. For us, the crux of our success is how we work together in an open and energetic environment. So I think you should ask yourself, do you have qualified people in the right place? Do you have the right tools? What's your strategy? And last but not least, do you have inspiring content? Thank you.